Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio here on irlonestar.com worldwide, Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you're hearing this voice, this is Dick, the host. That means we're live on our Facebook and YouTube channel, and we have a special guest today. You might have seen her on last Friday's show with Armando Nino and Texas Ticket. We have a Willis local, but also, I guess, the USA local now, because she's traveling and singing and doing things. And her home base now is Nashville, so we're lucky to have her in. We have Madeline Rae in the studio. Did I say your name right?
You did. That was great.
Good. Well, some people add like a little flair to their names, like Madeline Rae. But,
whatever you'd like to call
is that your
me.
real name?
Yes.
Really?
It's my first and middle name.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. We're not allowed to know the last name, folks.
No, top secret.
Well, you mean you're a musician, so people get stalked all the time.
So true.
But thank you so much. You're going to be playing some songs later.
Yes.
I do want to let the audience know in the description you can find her website, you can find her socials, all like where she's playing. She's playing all over the country, it seems like. I think you just got done with Ohio, and you just got done here, really, because we're pre-recording this. Because you're going back to Tennessee to do whatever you do there. I guess I imagine you play music there.
I do.
Every waking moment.
I try to.
Yeah, because it's funny. I've been to Tennessee one time to visit my buddy, and shout out to Ryan and Lisa. And we went. I was like, just take me wherever y'all go, like normal date night. Like I want to see what y'all do.
Yeah.
And there's something really cool about that downtown area. Like there's something going on.
It is so cool.
And
I think Nashville is one of the best cities. Yeah. 100%.
But it got me thinking, because Hollywood is known to attract people who want to act, direct, all that kind of stuff. New York attracts the same people, but also like people who want to be on the stage,
Broadway,
and that kind of thing. And then I want to say Nashville is now like the go-to place to just live as a musician. Austin somewhat, but Austin also is Austin's disgusting. But it's also great. One of my best friend lives there, Katie and Charles. Shout out to them, and it's really fun to be. And like Nashville, though, I feel like if you're an artist and you want to go be around the competition in a sense.
Yes.
Because iron sharpens iron.
Right. But also the difference, I feel like, is when I moved to Nashville, I thought that people would be super cutthroat and everyone would be stepping on each other to get ahead.
Well, it's got to be there somewhere.
But, I mean, possibly it's just that the majority of people are genuine and we all just support each other. It's almost like you are your own thing.
So you live in a commune?
I mean, no, but that
you
sounds
don't?
fun.
Man, see, that's one thing I always kind of like wish I had is that
commune?
apartment complex that everyone does the same job.
Wow.
So everyone's up at the same time. So it's like, oh, you want to cook or you want to go to a party or whatever. Like everyone's there. It's kind of like a dorm room.
So you just want to go back to college?
Well, no, I meant more of like in my profession. Because I can't imagine being a musician and then like your neighbor is a drummer and then like across the street.
It is cool. It's not hard to find people if you're in a pinch, for sure.
I have zero musical talent. I like to listen to a lot of music every morning, every night. I'm listening to music. That's one thing I want to actually invent is a speaker system that's high quality, that's so small that when you bring it on airports and stuff, but you can, because I like to shower and listen to music. Yeah. But every time you're traveling, you got this little, I would say like a little wimp speaker, you can't bring the big
wimpy.
system, big system. And I found out the iPod phones are not waterproof. So I learned the hard way because me being an idiot.
Put it in the washer or something?
No, I put them on to take a shower. And I'm like, oh, these don't work. And luckily I salvaged them. I just can't talk through them now.
Oh, no.
But
the AirPods in the shower.
Well, it said it's waterproof. And so I was like, all right, let's go for it. And then...
Not waterproof.
Not that. But I do love listening to music. So that's always, it's interesting to me to think about a place that encourages that kind of growth.
I mean, it's literally called Music City.
So let me ask you this, though, because you've been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
do you think that could be a bad thing for creativity? Because the reason I ask that is, you know how generations have their own sound.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if you're in a place that's surrounded by the same artists, there's no way to stand out because everyone's like, hey, you got to be like Taylor Swift. You're a girl and you play an instrument. Like, you got to be like Taylor Swift. And then how do you set yourself apart while keeping yourself intact, but still creating? But then at one point you're going to sell out. Everyone sells out at one point, which I dig. I think selling out is great, and well, it really is. And because you got to make money somehow.
You do. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you want to be unique to yourself and do the things that feel like you, but at the same time, you also have to keep in mind what people want to listen to because, the way that we make a living is by the people that are consuming our music.
Yeah.
So it has to be something that's palatable, but also I think it's the fresh sound that really sparks an interest. So if you're used to hearing the same sounding, country guy at the writers round, it is really refreshing to be someone different. For instance, for those of you that don't know what a Nashville writers round is, it's just like 3 people up on stage at the same time sitting on a stool, and you each take turns playing your original song stripped acoustic.
Oh, you mean a song swap?
Sure.
Why do you have a fancy word for it?
I didn't make up any of this, so don't come after me.
Well, no, so it's an industry term, so musicians know, oh, this is what we're doing.
The Nashville Writers Round is like a kind of like a coin term. But what's neat is that most people are, up there singing probably a country song with their guitar.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I am singing a not country song with my keyboard. And it's interesting. You see people perk up when they hear the keys because they're like, whoa.
Well, piano's 10 times better than guitar.
That's different. Yeah. So I think it's just about being who you are, still, having a fresh sound, but then also you are inspired by the people around you, so.
Well, I always wondered, like, during the grunge movement, it's like, is that where the grunge musicians went, is to Seattle? You know what I'm talking about? Because it's also, like, one thing that as an artist, I imagine starting up is you have to perform and you have to have an audience. So that's the real way you make your initial money. And then you might make albums, you might do, licensing and all that kind of stuff. But you got to have that crowd. So people in Nashville, that's a country scene. But country is crap today.
Well, and now there's also in Nashville such an underground scene for all of the subgenres. So yes, it's primarily country, at least that's what you think of. But there's a really awesome jazz scene. There's a heavy metal scene even. Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
Jazz Texas is opening up in Houston. I'm really excited about that.
What is that?
So Jazz Texas is a jazz lounge in San Antonio. Oh. And it's like underground. Like you literally go down steps. Tight.
This is right up my alley.
Yeah, I love it. It's like one of my favorite places to go. And the old theater off of Westheimer, like what's the theater called? It used to be a Del Taco. But it was a big place, really cool. The guy bought it or renting it for 10 years. He said that he's doing a 10-year commitment bringing Jazz Texas to there.
Cool.
So I'm pumped about that. And but yeah, Nashville, you're right. I mean, like, especially people who are visiting, they don't know.
They don't know.
They got like 8 days there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
And they're probably going to Broadway, which there's nothing wrong with Broadway, but it's just you're going to get what you expect. And also, maybe TripAdvisor is giving you the 3 main places you're supposed to go. But if you are a local or if you visited frequently enough, there are so many cool things that are off the beaten path that are just total gems. And that's why I love the city.
That's cool, yeah. Because again, it's like you're surrounded by that, but then it also, I feel you get influenced easily, especially through success. Success is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, oh, hey, you need, because like one of the most interesting, I forgot what rapper it was. It might be like Tech 9. I was listening to him talk about the industry, and what he decided to do was just write music that he knew would be on Call of Duty. Because he's like, if I do this, these video game people are going to pay licensing out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And I'll get royalties. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and then I can make my
do
bread and butter at concerts.
Yeah.
But like, this is how I support my family.
Yeah.
But then the concert stuff's my fun stuff.
Yeah.
But it made me laugh because I was like, yeah, I guess if you know that niche and you're like, go for it, dude. I mean, Taylor Swift made it all breaking up with dudes.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Let me ask you this, because I'm not a Taylor Swift. I have no idea what really, like, I know like 2 songs.
Okay.
Her.
Yeah.
Do you like Taylor Swift, like, as in like a fan?
I am not necessarily a fan of the music. I do respect her as a businesswoman, and I think she makes incredible
So you have no idea about her
decisions.
catalog. See, I want to talk to somebody who knows her catalog, because I wondered, it's like, I bet she has other songs that are not about breaking up. Like, there's got to be.
Yeah, but just maybe those weren't the ones that got popular.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Thing.
So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, there's got to be another
know.
side to this lady. And I'm like, because everyone thinks you break up with people, but there's got to be other songs about sunshine or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That her, like, you know, that they were like, your fan base wants your breakup stuff. You know, they're not going to want to hear the song about, you know.
Oh, but she's not bad at it, clearly.
No, she's
But
doing
but
well.
That's what I love about singer-songwriters,
Yeah.
because they write about what they feel. And some people like are just built for tragedy.
Yeah.
It's terrible sometimes, and those are my favorite artists.
Yeah.
But I remember I really like Dave Matthews, like the way he writes and creates, and his whole band's fun. But then I realized, oh, his new stuff sucks because he doesn't do drugs anymore.
You're like, wait.
I was like, what happened? Like, you had like a solid 8 years of just crazy stuff, and then it's like, oh, now I'm sober. I'm like, gross. And I mean, same.
Uninterested.
Well, see, and that's why I respect like Hank Williams. He just went for it. Like, he
Yeah.
didn't care.
It's like, this is me.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I think the original Hank Williams was pretty bad. I don't think Junior. I'm trying to think what. There's always juniors.
There are, yeah.
So I don't want to say like, oh, he was a drunk.
And you're like, no, that was my dad.
That was
yeah,
his
yeah.
dad. That was the other guy. Sorry. But yeah, and so what kind of drugs are you doing these days to become more depressed? Like that's the key, because you got the Kurt Cobains.
True, I guess.
You gotta go. You mean, what's so wild to me about artists is you don't want to sound so insensitive to them about their music, because like a lot of like your song 42 Moons, you mentioned that on
Yeah.
Armando's show. I was like, it's got to be really weird to share a story that was so personal, and then everyone can share it, but you also have people who could judge you on it.
Yeah.
It's like, you're an idiot.
You have to be
you
like,
don't like smoking?
it's wild. You have to be totally vulnerable and be okay with the fact that like your personal business is out there. And I guess I could be a total closed book. That's not my personality anyway.
Oh yeah, but
you
I
know?
mean, it's just because it's the perspective of it, because a lot of people don't interpret it differently.
That's that's how I look at it. Is it's like, this is my story I'm telling, but when you listen to it, you're gonna relate it to your own experiences.
Like that really popular song a couple of years ago, "Blame My Ex" by Blame My Ex by the Beaches. I remember that song came out, very popular. I don't know if you ever heard it. It's a lot.
I don't know.
But the lead singer was like, yeah, a lot of people think I'm talking crap about my ex, but really what the song's about is how I'm a butthole.
Yeah.
And like I use that as an excuse.
Right.
The way he treated me
Yeah.
gave me an excuse just to be a total butthole.
Right.
And so it's like completely opposite.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, well, that's why I interpret it as that, because she even says that in
Right.
the lyrics. Like, I'm going to do whatever I want now because this guy treated me bad. So I'm going to treat you bad. I'm going
Yeah.
to treat you bad.
No,
So-
everyone's gonna connect to it differently, and that's how I think of it. It's like, you know, I'm not really that exposed, because when you're listening to it, you're gonna think about the experiences that you went through. So you're not thinking about me and all the ways that I've been, you know, offended. Maybe you are, but you're probably relating
it
it to you.
depends. Like, it depends on if I see you live and you're singing a song, and you can kind of tell when an artist is like having a bad day, and that certain verse really hits you hard because
Yeah.
of whatever, and you're like, ooh, they're really crying up there.
Well, but also I think
Or they're really happy up there.
Well, I think that if you're a good performer, you are able to like tap into the way that it felt when you wrote that song. So like that season doesn't exist in my present day.
You talk in this weird way. That season, is that like a year? Are you talking like some spectral thing?
Season, I guess, is just like a period of time where you, where you experience life in a certain way.
Okay, so it's like a
season can be
chapter.
relative. Yeah, a chapter in
Okay,
my
so
life.
I just didn't know there was like a set timeline. It's like,
Fall, autumn
well,
of 2022.
I don't know. I'm like, okay, because you could be like, oh man, I have a long season. I've been alive for a long.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's very relative.
But no, like one song that sticks out to me that but the performer, it's known that he like really killed it, was "Like a Rolling Stone" by Bob Dylan. When he was like one of the first times he was performing it, you hear people in the background calling him Judas and all that stuff because he's portraying the folk.
Yeah.
And then you can hear there's a great track on, like, I don't know, it was somewhere in England, but you can hear him in the background, like Bob Dylan like leans over to the band and goes, play it loud. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was feeling it during that whole time, because he's like, screw this audience.
Right.
And I dig that. I really like when artists really put a lot of their feeling into
Yeah.
it, just so I can make fun of them later. But yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think we're gonna set up in a bit, and you're gonna play a couple songs, and then we'll come back. But I do have to ask you about this. In 42 Moons, did you not like smoking cigarettes, or was that smoking something else?
It was smoking something else.
Okay. Because that line, I was like, man, people really hate people who smoke
People
cigarettes.
seriously hate cigarettes these
Well,
days.
no, I've been in relationships where they told me that was a deal breaker, and I was like, I like to dip, and I'm like, she's like, that's a deal breaker, and I go, but I'm not dipping in front of you. Like, what does it matter? And I was like,
Maybe she wants your lips to be cancer free.
But I could say the same thing if she's drinking soda all the time.
Very true.
It's like if you're gonna start dictating,
Maybe
people,
soda is a deal breaker for you.
Well, I don't believe in deal breakers. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe in compromise and
yeah.
figuring it out. Like if someone just tells me straight up, hey, if I catch you doing this, I go, well, catch me if you can, baby.
I'm gonna do me.
Yeah, well, that's what's important about that kind of stuff. When I heard that line, I go, man, he either was smoking something really crazy, or he was had a really bad habit where he was just smoking all the time.
I mean, it was kind of more that. I think it was more the way that it made me feel to be in the background where this other thing is taking priority, and the way that it was affecting the relationship. So it's not that people who do this particular
But
thing
everyone
are
has
bad.
that kind of thing in a relationship where something is taking over.
Right. And
it
that was
might
that
not
in
might
that
not be
situation.
smoking. It
Right.
might be a job. Or,
Right.
a
Exactly.
kid. Get the kid out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you agree? You think you get rid of the kid?
Get rid of the kid. Why are you having kids? Throw that guy to the dumpster.
Wouldn't that be a great song? Is you talk about kicking the habit, but realistically, the
kid.
song's about a
Oh,
kid.
no.
We got to get rid of this. You changed so much after this.
Kick the kid to the
Yeah,
curb,
but you don't
man.
use kid in the song. People are like, oh, is he a nasty drug habit?
You're like-
Oh no, we're talking about our son. He loved my son more than me, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't deal with it.
I mean, there are jealous people out there.
Well, you know what? I'd be curious to see, because I always hear this term about whenever you get after birth. Some women
postpartum.
get postpartum depression.
Yes.
And I'm like, I wonder if there's any songs about that.
Oh.
Because that to me is wild. And because you think it's you got to be a crazy person to go.
No, but it's your hormones are just fluctuating.
Yeah. So we need songs about that.
Okay, good to know.
So you need to get pregnant.
Okay.
And we need to pretend.
Okay.
we need.
I'll look back on this moment when I'm writing my postpartum
It's
depression
like,
song.
oh yeah, we gotta get that song. Change Nashville. That's what we need to get everyone.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's gonna be a whole genre.
Why are you having 10
postpartum.
kids? I'm trying to get that post.
Yeah,
gotta
need
get
that banger.
Well, again, some people do drugs,
Yeah.
write songs, and then that's the unfortunate.
people have babies.
Some people have lots of babies. Got to catch that high. That's so funny. Well, that's one the ironic thing about popular musicians is how they become successful.
Yeah.
And then most of the time it's because of a tragedy. And
Yeah.
it's like one of those things. Except Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson just knew how to pretend to be happy all the time in a weird way.
Yeah.
He also had really good producers too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking I'm thinking about a guy who because clearly he had tragedies in his life, but
Yeah.
it didn't reflect in his music.
Right.
Because he rarely wrote
Yeah, that's
about
true.
that. So that's what I meant by that. And I always think about certain creativity in an artist, and then where does it translate in their world?
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things is when you go through the hard stuff, you're basically able to take that hard thing and then create art from it, and then you're creating something beautiful out of the hard thing. So that's my favorite way to go about it. I don't know. And then hopefully someone relates to it along the way, I guess.
yeah, 42 Moons, the cigarette thing or the smoking thing, I was like, I don't get it. I wouldn't be mad about that. But I've been there personally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
get off my back, Mom.
Woman?
Yeah, but I know that's a great song. I enjoy that song. You got City Lights is a good song. I want to say it's
Thank
called
you.
City Lights.
Yeah.
And then but there's a couple other ones too because they're on Spotify. You can stream, and then you do something interesting. You can buy music that's
Yes.
not available for streaming.
I recently did that just for this particular season of shows, because one of the things that's interesting about the music industry is you pay like $1,000 to record a song, and then you put it on Spotify and streaming sites, and you're making like 0.00001
well, you can sell
cent.
You can sell a CD.
People, yeah, but who has a CD player anymore?
Well, I
Usually
mean, I
no
told
one.
you the story. My mom wants me to rip a
Well,
record.
yeah, but
Well, so what I love about this record she wants me to rip. It's it's a Dionne or Diane Warwick. I don't know.
Dionne, I think.
It's Dionne Warwick. It's her greatest motion picture hits. And I'm like, and if you go find it online, it's like $150 for a CD. But you can stream it. And I was trying to tell her about that. And I was like, because, ripping it from the record, it's fun to do, but like you don't really care. Like just I'll give you a spot. I'll give you a Spotify account, Mama.
Right. And then she can have it at her fingertips at all times. So that's how the modern person listens to music, which
I'm still
means
ripping it. I'm ripping
well,
it.
Good for you. But that means that I can't really sell my music. It's more that I'm using it as a marketing tool to represent who I am.
Yeah.
So that I can sell tickets to shows and stuff. But this little acoustic EP I put together is basically, first of all, so that people can have access to the songs that aren't out yet. But also,
it's like a Patreon.
A little bit, yeah. It kind of is a way for them to, support me if they want, and then also they get to hear my stuff stripped in the way that I wrote them originally.
I would pay for that. So like that's one thing I love, like the collector side of me.
Yeah.
Was I find a band, like for example, like Jackson Brown's my favorite guy, right? Mm-hmm. And one of my good buddies in college, we loved Jackson Brown, James Taylor, Dave Matthews. So we would scour the internet for live recordings.
Yeah.
From like the 70s, 80s, and all that stuff. And we hit
it feels real, and you want to relate to that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'd be like, oh, this is a great, whoever ripped this from the board.
Yeah.
It's like awesome.
Yeah. Because you also get to view that person as a person. That's why people want to see celebrities in interviews and things like that, because they want to connect to them. And, when they're on this pedestal or they're like fully produced, they're kind of untouchable, and you want to feel the human connection.
And also the produced stuff can sound really great. And then when you see them live, they suck.
Totally. I think it's also really awesome if you can I heard someone say, if you were up on stage and the power completely went out and all you have is your voice and your acoustic guitar or whatever your instrument is, if you can still silence a room, then you know that you are a powerful musician.
Yeah.
Or if your song is good enough to captivate, even without all the fluff, without the lights and the choreographed stuff, then you know that you've done a good job.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Or that, people don't want to go outside because it's probably raining.
Yeah.
And
they actually didn't want to listen. They were just like,
power goes out. Well, yeah, let me ask you that. I'm curious about that situation, because you play around a lot, and especially I saw coffee shops.
Yeah.
I always enjoy when I go into a place that a musician's playing and they're doing their best, but no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
And it's especially in certain atmospheres where it's I think I've even seen an artist at an airport.
Yeah.
And you're
exactly.
you think these people are going to stop and listen?
No.
They're on the go, dog. And it feels really bad to hear that. And but then again, it's when you go see somebody, you're going to have the time to go see them.
Yeah.
But when you're going to a coffee shop to get a coffee, you're like,
it's
this
really
guy's pretty good.
Think about elevator music. Do people actually care what's playing in the elevator? Not really, but it's more awkward to stand in silence with a stranger.
I take the stairs.
Oh, yeah, or you can take the stairs with your AirPods in that you wore in the shower.
Yeah, they kind of work depending on what step. It's I got to hold my head like that.
No, but I think that's part of it is those kind of gigs, like an airport gig, is probably the airport's paying you $150 to be there. And then, if people, there are some times where it's just you're working for tips and the occasional person will come put $5 in your bin. But I think it's more just for ambiance, and that's when you would play more cover songs that people recognize, and as they're bringing their freaking heavy suitcase, they hear a song they recognize and they smile at you. But it's the listening room style things that I love the most, and that's why I've been playing house shows, because people are just in the room with you.
They're there to see you.
Yes, and they're locked into the story and the lyrics that you've written, and it's a whole different experience.
Okay. Yeah, one of my I saw Hayes Carl not too long ago, and he's at the Pavilion, and he's from the Woodlands.
Oh, cool!
And apparently, he was telling a story. He was actually a car attendant at the Pavilion.
Oh.
And so he had all these great stories about working there and getting fired, all this kind of stuff. And he's like, "This is one of the first places I performed." And I was like, "Really? At the Pavilion?" He's like, "But it was over here at the entrance
next to the dumpster on the sidewalk."
Well, no, it was great. So he's like, I got hired. I was like, I'm gonna finally play at the Pavilion, but it's a stage. It was some event going on, all day event. They set him up. They have a start time for him, and he realizes after about 5 songs, no one's inside, and he was wondering what's going on. So he asked the guy who's put on the event. He's like, "Hey, where is everybody?" He's like, "Oh, they're coming in like 45 minutes." And he's like, well, why am I playing my music? He's like, well, I wanted you to create an atmosphere inside, so they're just going to listen outside. He's like, so I'm not going to play in front of anybody. Nope.
Wow.
Nope. And
Yeah.
he's like, I could see them all right there at the gate. But
Oh.
I thought that was really funny. I was like,
Dang.
yeah, being a musician, you get put in weird situations.
You do.
So,
You totally do. Yeah, and sometimes you feel like Dance Monkey Dance. It's like, play that song.
Yeah.
And it's like you just feel like you're like,
well, that's what
weird.
you are.
You are.
I mean, you're an
entertaining.
entertainer.
Yeah.
So a lot of people miss that. It's like, make me a bicycle clown.
Yeah.
Like,
It is a little bit like that. Sometimes I feel like, oh, okay.
well, that's when you know you're a professional, though, because you're like, you put up with that crap.
Yeah, and it's a paycheck. I mean, at the end of the day, there's some gigs that your heart and soul is in and it gives you life, and other gigs that it's like, well, I'm doing this for $100 and
Yeah.
that's the only reason I'm here. So it just depends on the gig.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what I love about certain musicians, too. If you go see them, you can tell, like, they just want to get out of here. Because I forgot who I'm trying to remember who I saw. It was someone, it was like a big rock and roll. It wasn't AC/DC. It was something like that. But, like, you could tell they sped up all their songs like 10, 15%.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, we got to play the 12 to 14 songs.
Right.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah,
like, I
yeah,
don't want
yeah.
to be here. And I was like, this sucks. Like, they're
Yeah.
just going through the album. Mm-hmm. And
You
I said,
could
I
easily
go,
just
boo.
get off the stage.
Yeah, I'm like, if you don't want to be here, get out of here.
Yeah, I know. But for the crowds where like they're not listening anyway, you're just noise, Like my dad, he likes to live life with the TV on, and he's not listening to it, and he just likes the sound.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know.
What's he listening to? Is it like Animal Planet kind of stuff?
No, it's just like the TV will just be on anything. He just likes the sound of it being like, talking.
Interesting.
And then I get sucked into the TV, and then he's sitting there talking at me.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm like, Dad, I'm trying to watch TV.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely one of those people where if we go to a bar or restaurant or there's a TV on, within a minute and a half, I'm like, what?
Yep.
What are we watching here? Like the most dangerous combination is a bar with Law and Order on with only subtitles.
Yeah.
Because I won't pay attention to anybody.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, this is a good episode. Yeah, I wonder if that's
Get sucked in.
Is that the baby rapist? Let's see. is that what's going on? And people are like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm watching Law and Order, dog. Like,
Totally. Yep. I get that.
I love it. But okay, we're gonna be interjecting some of your songs in here. So like, hey, song right here.
Sweet. All right, amazing. This first song is called Back in Nashville. Silly boy, never really knowing what you wanted. Oh, silly boy, never really knowing what you had. You were just a boy, still I was convinced I'd get a man out of you. Silly me. Oh, you're probably on a boat down in the Caribbean, dreaming about a woman that coulda, woulda, shoulda been. But she's back in Nashville. She's back in Nashville. You never let it show, but I bet you think about her when you're all alone. Wish that you could hold her, but she's back in Nashville. She's back in Nashville where you left her. Something about the way you did it's almost comical. Oh, funny boy, I wonder if you think it's funny now. Are you holding hands with the girl around the corner? Do you wish she wasn't me? You know she used to be me. Oh, you're probably on a boat down in the Caribbean, dreaming about a woman that coulda, woulda, shoulda been. But she's back in Nashville. She's back in Nashville. You never let it show, but I bet you think about her when you're all alone. Wish that you could hold her, but she's back in Nashville. She's back in Nashville where you left her. she's back. You know she's back, you know she's back in Nashville. You know she's back, you know she's back. You know she's back, you know she's back in Nashville. You know, you know, you know, you know. You know she's back, you know she's back. You know she's back, you know she's back in Nashville. You know, you know, you know. You know she's back, you know she's back. You know she's back, you know she's back. Oh, you're probably on a boat down in the Caribbean, dreaming about a woman that coulda, woulda, shoulda been, but she's back in Nashville. She's back in Nashville. You never let it show, but I bet you think about her when you're all alone. Wish that you could hold her, but she's back in Nashville. She's back in Nashville. Oh, oh, she's back in Nashville. You know, you know, you know, you know, she's back in Nashville, where you left her. All right. The next song I want to play is called 42 Moons, and this is a song that I wrote about a relationship I was in for a chunk of my 20s, actually. And I used the moon as a timeline for this particular relationship. There are 12 full moons in 1 year, and I was in a relationship with this person for roughly 42 moons. So this is called 42 Moons. It's out wherever you like to listen to music, and I'm going to play it for you now. Waiting on you, we're waxing, we wait till the love concludes. 42 months, building you high, counting the days till the love runs dry. When you left, all my worries left with you, left with you, left with you, left with you. When you left, you took all your demons too. Now nobody's jealous when I talk to my friends. Nobody's lying about smoking again, and nobody's wishy-washy roller coaster up and down or under over. Love me, want me, miss me, need me, fine without me, wanna leave me. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that in my life. I don't need.
body's wishy-washy, roller coaster up and down or under, over, love me, want me, miss me, need me, fine without me, wanna leave me. I don't need that in my life. I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it. I don't need that in my life. I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it. 42 months over 3 years, then tossed to the side on a whim. 42 months over 3 years, then tossed to the side on a whim. I don't need that in my life. I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need. I don't need that in my life. I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need. I don't need that in my life. I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need. I don't need you in my life. I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need. I'm gonna sing it until I believe it. I'm gonna sing it until I believe it. Thank you.
And now we're back.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to just keep talking about where you're playing. You're going to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
People need to follow you on social media.
Yeah.
And one thing that I found interesting is you do work on other projects, meaning
Yes.
like you help people, but then you lived on a boat or you work on a boat. And the Overboard show, I have seen it. One of my good friend's wives, without fail, going to the house. That show's on.
Okay.
And I always, again, the TV gets me. I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you watching? And I'm like,
Sucks you in.
are
You're
these
like, wait a
people
second.
doing this? This
Yeah.
is something they do. So it got me thinking about when I found out you did that. What's the longest you've been on a boat?
Yeah. I lived on a boat, and it was actually in the Mediterranean for like the whole summer. So we sailed around France and Italy and like Amalfi Coast, but I literally lived on board. So you basically sleep there, wake up there, work there,
Yeah.
go to sleep there,
And then
repeat.
when y'all need stuff, you port and then
yeah.
for like 2 hours.
Yeah. And even when we are at dock, I'm still stuck on the boat because I'm making your bed or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this though. So this is one thing I love about people in their jobs. It's
Okay.
like some people either get so tired of it they don't want to have anything to do with that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So what happens if like your significant other is filthy rich and it's like, hey, I got us a great thing for the summer. We're gonna spend X amount of time on a boat.
And I'm like me, and I've already done that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, would you want to put other people through that?
I mean,
Do you look at that job like that? Like, I don't want to bother these people. Like, let's just.
I mean,
Because that takes a special someone
It does.
to be that kind of in service.
yeah.
And then also takes, on the other hand, like to expect that kind of service for that
Yeah.
long. Because that, I would basically, if it were me and I'm on the boat, I'm the person, the client.
Yeah.
I would want to hang out with y'all all the time.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, just don't worry about that. Like,
There are people like that. They're super like, I'll get my own iced tea. Don't worry about it,
Yeah.
but it's still my job. I'm still going to have to.
well, I know. And like, I'll get in trouble. Like,
Yeah, I will get in trouble if I don't make your bed. I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, the making bed, that's fine with me because I don't know how to make the bed. So I'm like, hey, you're better at that than me. I get it, but I'm better at making drinks. Trust me.
Yeah. No, but it's so interesting. Like, you're also, working on someone else's vacation. There are people that fully take advantage of that. And like, if they want to order a grilled cheese sandwich at 3 a.m., I have to make them a grilled cheese sandwich.
Awesome. See, you got me thinking about it because I know like you literally do everything.
Yeah. We don't have a menu for them. They literally like, they can just order whatever they want. Like if you want eggs Benedict in the morning, you tell the
But
chef.
see, I
and he
cook,
makes it.
so I'd want to cook my own food.
Yeah, we would not let you.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I paid for it.
I guess maybe if you like really were adamant about it.
See, if you tell me no, I'm like, yo,
Let me in that galley.
yeah, I'm like, I
I'm
want
gonna
to
make
see
my own breakfast.
That'd probably be the first place I'd go.
Huh.
Because I want to see how it works. Because I spent some time on a ship one time, and what amazed me was the washer and dryer.
Were they stacked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy how much laundry you do on a boat.
oh yeah.
And like if you think about it, the guests have their personal wardrobe.
Yeah.
But then everyone's at the beach, so that you've got your beach towels. Everyone's taking multiple showers a day.
Especially with their kids.
You're using cloth napkins. So like I'm washing so much stuff. Crew uniform. We have like a daytime and an evening time. If there's a boat with 10 crew, that's 20 uniforms
That's
a
a
day.
big boat.
Yeah, it was 10 crew and 10 guests that we were accommodating.
Wow.
And it was it was very like elite service, and I was exhausted.
Well, because that kind of world to me is like, that's not just wealthy, that's like uber wealthy.
Yeah.
And
It was like $200,000 to rent the boat for the week.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I would not do that, but it got me thinking about when you said that. I go, man, people like work on cruise ships for 3 months, ongoing, and then they have an on off.
That's a different thing too, because there's
And-
like maybe 500 crew or something like that.
Well, I just meant more of because like I thought about you in a sense of you love music, and like hey, I still have to have a job, and like that job is almost perfect because it gives you like a dedicated time to work. It's kind of like an oil rig guy. I'm working for 2 weeks and I know I'm going to be off for this much. So that 2 weeks I'm going to work hard and then I can do what like my passion is.
Well, that's how it feels now that I'm freelance and I just pick up random 2-week gigs.
Yeah.
But I used to do it full time where I never left the boat.
See, that doesn't sound fun.
No, it sucked my soul dry.
Yeah.
Like
you got to take a week off at least.
and I'm a creative person, so if I'm just
and you can't be that on the boat.
I can't be that.
You're in this little thing.
It's very militant. I'm just like literally
Isn't that fun?
doing, my duties. I'm doing chores all day.
I know that's what. Well,
That's
yeah,
how it
that's what I
is.
love about it. It's
My
like,
dad, when I would come home, he'd be like, "Hey, Ray, do the dishes," and I'm like, "Are you serious, Dad? I've been doing the dishes."
but you're so
all
good at
summer."
it. That's what I would do. I'm
Fold
like,
my
"Wait,
t-shirts.
But you're so good at it. You practice so hard. But no, because that lifestyle to me is really neat, and so I've had friends that do the oil stuff, and they do certain aspects of that, like they're gone for a week, 2 weeks, and
Yeah,
then
it's interesting.
it's like for example, my cousin, he travels like I think it's 10 days on, and then he has like 4 days off.
Cool. Yeah.
And I was like, so what are those 4 days? Like, he's like, it's a vacation every
Yeah.
time. Like every time I know I have that 4 days, I'm planning something
Right.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be short. Like either I'm going to sleep all the time or I'm actually going to do something
Yeah.
fun.
It is
And-
exactly that.
and he's like-
Totally.
He's like, I got to force myself to have fun.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine. I mean, I actually sleep really well on a boat. I like the rocking. That's very
Like
nice.
baby rocks you to sleep.
Oh, yeah. I love
But
it.
it's wild because those people that you work with, you're with them all the time, every day. And so they become like family, which is
Yeah.
really neat. So I'm still close with all the people I've worked with because we were so much more than just coworkers. We were friends and family, basically.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
But again, so I almost would you suggest to musicians, like up and coming musicians, like, hey, find an industry like that so you can
Yeah.
support yourself
Yeah,
and
totally.
not depend on like getting gigs all the
I
time.
think because the music industry can be tricky, at least when you're starting out and, you are playing for peanuts sometimes. I feel like a lot of people are having to work like 4 jobs, just to even stay afloat. I love that I have this little tool in my tool belt and I can just go do a 2-week trip, make, a chunk of money and then have that fund my life for the next, couple months or whatever. It's a
I respect
beautiful
it.
thing.
I
Yeah.
respect that. See, that's really cool to me, and I don't really do that. Really, I guess the only thing I really do is I work at a bowling alley to support my bowling habits, so I can bowl for free.
Nice.
So I do that. I guess I do it. I do it in the same way. I'm an artist. No,
I'm a bowling artist, yeah.
yeah, no, that's always like that. I love music, and it's something that I always thought I was like, man, I kind of wish I grew up in a musical family. But then again, that's saying like I don't want to grow up with the family I have now. So
Also, it's never too late to like learn guitar or something.
no, I'm okay with not learning that. I just like I'm a terrible singer, but I sing anyway.
Well, that's great. Those
So-
are my favorite kind of people.
So yeah, that's why I put the ear pods in and I sing.
Yeah.
And they don't work. And then you just hear me.
Then you hear yourself and you're like,
Oh
oh.
God, I'm terrible. Terrible. Okay. Well, we need to wrap it up because you got to play some songs. I'm going
Yeah.
to interject in the interview because we got another show coming in. So
All good.
we gotta get it. So it's Madeline Rae, and I put her social media and her website all in the description. You can listen to her music. She's in Nashville, but she's traveling around all around town. So she's from Willis. So I imagine she's gonna come back. And
Yes.
shout out to your mom because she runs the School
School of Live Music.
School of Live Music, which ironically, so one of my good friends lives off 105, and we call that center the center of everything because it has everything in it. It's like the wildest thing. I think it has a vape shop. It's got the live music. It's got a boba
speakeasy.
place.
Yeah, speakeasy. Yeah.
A boba place. I think there's a workout thing or
There's a spa.
is it a spa? Yeah. And I'm like. Yeah, because every time I see it, I go, man, you can get like your whole day taken care of in this little shopping center. You get,
so
like,
true.
I started laughing about that. I was like, there's got to be some shady stuff going on over there. Get some vape, go see some live
You're
music.
set, yeah.
Yeah, go to speakeasy, get a massage, get boba tea. Like,
All good.
it's wild. So shout out to your mom.
Yeah, she's the best.
I think she's better than you, actually. So
Yeah.
that's good. I need to get her on. Why don't I get her on?
You should. You should.
Well,
totally.
you're just not there yet.
Yeah.
She has the experience.
Right. Yeah, I'll call my mom. She's more of a senior person.
Well, one thing I will say about your music, to me, you're kind of very similar to your mom.
Yeah,
When
well,
it
we grew up
comes-
singing together,
Yeah, so
so
it's like the performance-wise, like you didn't
Yeah.
just go all rock. And
no.
like, screw you, mom.
No.
You didn't do that when you were growing up?
No. Mm-mm.
Avril Lavigne or
No.
whatever? Just go. What
go
are
all
you
rogue.
listening to? Oh, man.
No, that's the one thing I will say. I know we're wrapping up, but my parents have always been so supportive, and I feel like sometimes people in the arts, your parents disapprove or they want you to do something stable and 9 to 5 or whatever.
Oh, look at me.
I'm looking.
Well, no, I mean, like, same thing. My parents are like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to start a radio station. Why? Because I want to be involved with the community. I want to talk to people. And like,
They didn't disown you as black sheep.
well, I have 5 brothers and sisters, so
Oh.
they've already. I'm the youngest too, so I kind of can do whatever I want,
Oh.
and that's the mentality I've had ever since. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do what I want.
It's great when you have supportive family.
Yeah. Oh, they're very
And they have
supportive.
my back. That's the thing I will say. I do kind of live an adventurous, random life, and I think that the reason I don't let the fear of the unknown get to me is because I know that if I try something and I fail, I can always come back home and they'll have my back. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, parents, wonderful. Mornings at Lone Star here at Lone Star Community Radio. That's Madeline Rae. I hope you enjoyed some of her music. We gotta get her to recording it right now. And yeah, if you want to be a guest on Lone Star Community Radio, reach out to us on our Facebook. We're here, and I'm pretty much here every day. And we have other shows, so just go to irlonestar.com or visit us on our social media. And yeah, we'll check you guys later.